Greetings, hello, welcome everyone. Hi, we are just getting started here today. So I want to welcome everyone to DevChatter. If this is your first time here, feel free to follow along, watch the code, talk in the chat, ask questions, anything like that. You are all welcome to. A couple of other things I want to mention. Obviously, you probably figured this out, but the name of this channel here is DevChatter, and my name is Brendan. You can see that right here. There's a lot of information down below the stream, as well on the sides and everything like that, so feel free to have a look around. We are going to be doing some live coding here, as we usually do, and I see a bunch of people starting to show up in the chat, so that is good. Welcome, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to apologize at first, because my voice is a little scratchy, hoping that it holds out for a full stream today, but we'll see how long I'm able to go. Obviously, I'm wrapping up a little bit of a cold. That's actually why we missed our last stream, so I wanted to make sure that I got one in today, even if it was like kind of a scratchy voice one. But we are going to write some code today. I've got some ideas for what I want to do. I want to continue working on our chat interactive game here because I want to get to us. There's a certain point I want to get to. I want to get us levels, an actual exit, and items and money persisting between games. So that means if you play this game, I want to have it be that when you are done, if you escape, you leave with the items that you had. If you enter and you die without making it, you lose the items you had. So that's the thing I want to do. I want persistence between the games. Now, I won't make you lose all your money between rounds if you get killed in the game is the idea, but that's the concept. You drop the items. So like if you went in with an axe already, like that one that's on the ground there, for example. Now I can kill that zombie, head up here, and exit. So I currently have an axe. Now if that had actually been an escape and not a level exit, that's what I want to have happen, is I would leave with the axe. So I want to try to get us to that point on the stream today. So that's the goal. And the game plays pretty well right now. So that's actually what it does. Now, if you watch in the chat, I want you to see there's going to be... So there it is. There's the message that appeared in the chat. So the way that works is that's us sending information back up to the server. Now, right now, here's what we're sending. Oh, I have that change. I do not want to check that in yet. I'm going to untick that box. I was working on something. I don't know if anybody noticed the name of that file. Hopefully someone noticed the name of that file, because I know some people that'll get excited if they did. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our JavaScript. Did I want this one? Hang on. I don't think I wanted this one, did I? Hang on. I think I want wasteful.js. Okay, so the main JavaScript file for our game, so our game is named Wasteful, so it's the Wasteful game. Wasteful.js is the main library of it. And I apologize, Visual Studio is not so great with my JavaScript. It complains about our JS doc comments here. But this should have end game. Here it is. So end game. We remove the handlers, cancel the animation. We set is running false. We set the game to not be running. We clear out the canvas, and then organize better so it's not coming from separate objects. So right now I have a complaint about the fact that our data, like the state of the game, the current state that we want to send back up there, I'm pulling points off of that. I'm pulling display name off the user info. So I don't like the fact that we're pulling this data. But right now the data we're sending up points, we're sending up display name, the user ID. So we display while you're playing the game. Let me bring it up so you guys can see that again. Just want to explain this. When I start up the game, you'll see that it lists my name there. So it says DevChatter is the one playing. Whoops. I did not want the one that opened up there to load up. So you'll notice there's 2 instances of it. That's because one of those is the actual one that's going to be running on the stream, and the other one is... so that's hidden now. The other one is the one that we're building with. So we have 2 instances of this site running, so that's why. Of the page running, I should say. Okay. So you'll notice that it has my name, but obviously we have a unique ID for you that's coming from Twitch. So your user account with Twitch has an associated user ID. That's a much better way of tracking a player, because you can change your username, but you can't change your user ID. So if someone changes their name, we don't want to lose track of who they are. Okay, so I got killed there. But that's fine. That's basically how the game works. That's sort of expected. So again, that's going to report back, and it says died on level 4 with 78 points. So what that's sending up is that sent up the points, it sent up my display name, my user ID, and my level number. Now, what's significant about that is we want to store all of this data. I want to send something else, though. So let's send up our inventory, if I can. So where is player inventory? This dot player dot inventory, and I think inventory has items on it. Let's find out. Can we get all the items? So we have an items object. So I should just be able to grab items. So let's try that. And it's just a... What are these items? These items are item objects. Okay, so I don't want a full item object. I just want to know its name and its size. What's on an item? Let's open up item.js. So inside of here, you'll see that we have item types, item pickup type, item effect type, item messages. Item extends an entity. Entity means item. Entity means something that can appear on the screen. So we take in these. It has a type, pickup type. We don't need those. We just need the name and number of uses, which should be on here. Uses right there. Does it have a... Do we have name stored on here? No, maybe that's... maybe it's type. Type might be the one we want. Let's go find where we create new item. New item. So we create this new item. We pass in the sprite. We tell it it's a type, it's a weapon type, but we don't use the name. Okay, so we need to name these. So let's add that, because we need some way of determining which weapon we should give back. Yes, Janisku, teams are going to have their own style. You figured it out. So when you go in as a player on a team, you are going to look different. So the human players are going to look like that guy. So that's our human player right there. I will try to do, if people want them, you'll be able to choose between 2 sprites. I'll do a male and a female sprite. People can choose whichever one they want to represent them. There's not really going to be much of a difference. I'll probably just pick 2. Anybody can obviously pick one. It's not like the sprite really is male or female. Obviously, that could be a man or a woman. It's hard to tell. It's a little sprite. It's 42 pixels by 42 pixels and super blocky. So people can really choose whichever one they want. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add name. No, not NME. Name. And I'm going to add that up here. I'm going to call this, this is a string, right? Name. Is string the type on that? Think string is the type. Let's search the solution for that. String direction, so lowercase s. There we go. String primitive type. Yep, that's the one. Good. Okay. So now that we have name, I want to store name in some way. So let's do this dot. Or actually, do we? Yeah, we do need to have the name. This dot name equals name. Where's uses? Uses also had an underscore. Did I get uses anywhere? Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to do this differently. So I'm going to make that underscore name. And I want to do this. Okay, so that was get remaining uses. That was get type, which is weapon, is what that's going to be. I don't need any of the other ones. So I need to be able to... I want get name. So we'll hide it behind that too. We'll do the same thing. So returns string. So this is going to be get item name. Actually, it's just going to be name. So we'll return name. Public returns name. There we go. Okay, so now in the item builder, when I create these, I need to create them with a name. So that means that this is new item, new item. Ooh, effect item gets created like that, so we're gonna have to do that. So name is gonna need to get added to effect item as well. So I will do that. So this one is a baseball bat. Actually, I'm just going to call it bat for now, just to shorten it. And then this one is going to be an axe. That'll be a sword. And yes, I intentionally, we'll do the whole thing. S-words. Okay, so this is black can. That's a relatively short name. This is... Oh, these don't get picked up. Those don't need names. Those don't need names. I win. That doesn't need a name. Although it'll still need a name. Black can. Pizza. And taco. That way we can define them. So if we want to intentionally have a specific item or something like that, we need a unique identifier name on them. So for now, those are going to be where the names are. I'm not huge on having them in there, but it doesn't really hurt to do it for now. So that should add the names once I go to effect item. .js. And this needs to have name in its constructor as well. And it is going to pass name to super. So that means because an effect item is an item, it's going to have to pass that parameter up to the base constructor. In JavaScript, that's called super. So we traditionally C# devs, I should say, are used to that being strong. We're used to that being base. Super, base, they mean essentially the same thing. Then the name is different in a lot of different programming languages. So there we go, string name. Boom, done. Okay, so there's effect items. So we don't need that anymore. We added get name to that. So end game. So this, I don't just want to pass in items. Let's do this. Let's say let let's call this held items. We're gonna say, so that gets us our items, but we don't just want to pass the items, we want to pass specifically just the item name and uses. This is too much information. So I'm going to map the item. So that's this gets me the collection of items. So that's the held items. I want to map it so we just get the name. We just get the info that we want. So I'm going to say this is item, and I'm going to say from item I want to get. I'm going to make a new anonymous object at this point. So I'm going to make a JavaScript object. That's what those curly braces are for. And I'm going to say item.name and item.remaining uses. So there we go. And I want to say name is that. And I want to say uses. That it's not an assignment or call. Maybe I'm going crazy here. Oh, because I could do braces in that, and then, yeah, okay, got it. Sorry. I'm just derping there for a second. So it's thinking that this is wanting to make a coding block, not an item. So I want to say return that. So then it should be less confused by this, but I can only really return that if I'm inside of curlies. So I'm going to do that. Get rid of that curly. So now it can tell what I'm doing. Now it says, oh, you're returning a new object of that type. So, confusion gone. So that'll be our held items. They will be a collection of name and uses objects. So, we'll pass that up. So this, obviously, so that code, we're in JavaScript. This JavaScript code right here, it is invoking the hub and calling gameEnd. So, if I look for a method in my code called gameEnd, you will see that over in the wasteful hub, oh, you're right, Dan, you are totally right. I could have wrapped it in a, so Dan is saying that, and I'm pretty sure he's right, I could wrap it in this. Whoops. Visual Studio was just trying to help me there, or I don't know if it was Visual Studio or ReSharper, but one of them was trying to help me. Let me close paren there and open paren here. And now it should accept it. Yeah, okay. So wrapping it in parens also got the idea across that that's not the creation of a new set of curly braces. So that's a little nicer than returning it. So thank you for that suggestion, Dan. Much appreciated. Okay, so that will get me my held items. So as I said, this is going to call a C# method over in our hub over here. So that's this method. You'll notice its name is grayed out. That's because Visual Studio doesn't think that it's getting, I should say, Visual Studio and its extensions don't think that method's being called from anywhere, because it's not really. It's getting called from JavaScript. So there's no explicit call to this anywhere in our code. Okay, so in order to receive this data, I need to get a list of, let's call this held item DTO. DTO. That's a tough call. I'm not actually sure on that one which way I want to go. We're going to go this way for now. And inside of the hubs, I'm going to make a folder that I'm going to call DTOs. Because all of our data transfers right now are going to take place inside of the hubs, so I think this should be kept close to it. And I don't know if we're actually going to store these model objects this way or not, but I'm going to create the DTO for it, and if we decide to store with the same concept, so just the item uses and things like that, then that'll be fine. But this specifically is coming up as a string name and int uses. So we have name and uses, which I believe are what I called it down here. Name and, no, uses. Name and uses. One other note that I want to point out. SignalR is actually the technology that does the, it's the library we're using that does the communication between our JavaScript and our C#. And one nice thing that it does when it's mapping, notice that this is name with a lowercase n and uses with a lowercase u, which is standard convention in JavaScript. When I send data from C#, it takes whatever my types are and converts the name from the, it will convert the name to the correct one for wherever I'm going. It's pretty smart when it does the mapping, and we'll line these up as well because I lowercase here, which is the convention in C#. But when I pass down properties, it knows, oh, I'm supposed to lowercase that for the JavaScript. So we'll call this items. Okay, so that will let us pull those items up when we end the game. And that would tell me if I were holding an item when I ended the game. If I'm not holding any items, we could say that as well. So let's just print it as a message to start with, and I will try to get my character killed while he's still holding an item. So we can confirm that it will display an item if I have one. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to say... let's call this like item display text, which is long name. It's just temporary. I just want to be clear about what this is so it's not confusing. So we are going to do a string.join on with a comma space, and we're going to say items.select x.name. So I'm going to basically just print out the names of the items for now. So I'm not worried about the uses just yet. If we got the names, I'm certain we got the uses. So that this will just tell me, did this communication go from Twitch to our code, and we're able to display it out. So player name has died on level whatever with that many points while holding item display text. So let's do this. So I want to say items.any. So if we have any items, then we want to display it that way. Otherwise, we're going to use the string nothing. So that's how we're going to say if they had items, cool, list them out. If they didn't, then say while holding nothing. Okay. This will not get us an AND before the last item when we string these together like this. If we wanted to do that, we would have to do that part ourselves. But should work fine for displaying this. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. I'm going to go ahead and... whoops. I think I need to kill the bot. I'm betting it's not actually going to restart correctly. We'll find out. The bot might not want to let go. Yep, bot doesn't want to let go. So, okay. We're going to kill the bot because it doesn't want us to restart correctly. And as Janisku's doing some commands there in the chat, you can all probably see that we are building a couple of teams into this. So you are all the players of this game. You can all be survivors that play in this. And there are 3 teams right now. We have dinosaurs, humans, and kangaroos, and you can choose which one you want to be on. Right now, we have a little human character, and I want to get us a little dinosaur character as well as a kangaroo character. So I have to draw those. I was working on a dinosaur character already, but it is not done. So let me go ahead and try starting up the bot one more time. There it goes. Let me refresh this page, despite the fact that I really liked that starting point. So now let's go ahead and start up another game. So when I do that start, why didn't that work? Why didn't that work? Whoops, cannot read. Wait, what? Oh, exit item. I might have messed up exit item. Hang on. When we create the exit item, I didn't, it is an effect item. I did not mess with its constructor. New exit item. So right here, exit item needed a name. Call this exit. So new effect item. Just make sure I got all those. Yep, I got those ones. And new item. That's new item builder. That's not in my code. That's not in my code. Okay. What? Get out of here, Sharper. I don't want your info. I don't need that. Okay. So because that was just a JavaScript change, level JS line 47. Way to go, Brendan. Level JS line 47. I did not add the comma. Hey, S&B, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream today. Let's refresh that. There we go. So that page should be started up. Let's go ahead and start this. And let's see. Hey, there it is. Okay, game's back up. Let's try... I want to get an item. And now I'm going to let a zombie come eat me. So I'm just going to walk against the wall until he kills me. So I want this game to report that I picked up an axe, that I was holding one. Aha! Got it! Look! Look at that! It says in the chat, there was an axe. I was holding an axe. Woohoo! That is perfect. Okay, so... Level 1, 0 points while holding an axe. So, that's neat. That means that we can actually get that data, so it's coming up. So, alright. Next thing that I want to do. So that proves that we can get the item. That means that I can save that you were holding the item. So, one sec. And I'm back. So, very cool, very cool. Glad that worked. And I apologize, everyone, if you didn't guess from the sound of my voice and everything. I do have a little bit of a cold, so I figured you guys would not complain if I blow my nose while I'm not, you know, on camera and, you know, unmuted. I figured you guys would appreciate that. Everyone probably will. Okay, so... I want to make a decision based on how you exited now. So clearly we can get the items up there. And we want to... glad to hear it, S&B. Glad to hear it. So we want to get those up there, but we need another way of escaping. So let's go ahead and do this first. So let's make sure we're sending up this information. So well, hang on. Before I do that, let me make sure that there's no problems let's make sure that it goes okay when I have no items. I didn't check that. Game over. What's the message say when I die with no items? Has died on level 1 with 0 points while holding nothing. Perfect. Okay, so seems like everything worked fine. It's B of Essen. Yes, exactly. See, Janescu? I thought it was SNB2. I was like, oh, SNB must be from Germany. Was the first thing I thought when SNB showed up here. Let's see. So we create that. We store a game record, which is good. Oh, let me show you all that. So we are recording the games right now. Not because we need them just yet, but because it's a good idea to start recording it. So this is the game data. So so there you go. Why did the ID jump so much there? I am confused by that. It's an auto number. I have no control over it, but I am confused why it jumped from 3 to 1002 and 1003. Huh. That's a new one on me. Very good deception there, SMB. Very good deception. Okay. So that works. Let's take a look. We need to make an actual exit item. So this is called a level exit, and this has an effect. And the effect that this triggers for this one is it does an exit, which shouldn't surprise anyone. And then we say, call game level next. And next level takes us to the next level. So that is a level exit item. We want to get to like a safe house or something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking, is we want a safe house. So let's quickly build one of those. Or maybe we can do a helicopter pad as the starting one. So we're going to do a 42 by 42 pixel thing. It's got a nice grid on it. Let's say helicopter pad. No, you can't know my location, Google. What's a helicopter pad look like? Okay, so they're often green or gray, so whether it's in, and there's some kind of a circle with an H in it, of varying sizes. So why don't we start by drawing an H, because that's easy. So let's do that. So we'll draw an H. What color will look good on this? I guess I could do this style, where we do something like that, where we do a dark gray with a white on it. So let's start off there. Let's grab a dark gray. So I want a dark gray of some kind. Whoops. There. That looks dark enough, right? That's tarmac dark. So there's our tarmac. And let's flip our colors here. And I am going to draw this with a rectangle instead of that. So we just need to draw an H in the middle, so that's actually not very difficult. I'm going to do it a layer above so it's easier to move it. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pixels. 12, 13, 14 pixels maybe? There we go. That works. Now we're gonna do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't look bad. Where's the middle? Is that the middle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, so that's the middle. So there's our H. So we're gonna have an H somewhere in the middle of this space. I'll figure out the exact middle at some point. Which actually, I think I have a tool that can just do that, don't I? Object align, center both. There we go. Oh, turns out it was already in the center, so we're good. Okay, so there is our H for this little circle here. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to add a little ring. So I'm going to cheat to get myself a ring. I'm not going to draw it myself, and then I'm going to fix it myself. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a circle. We're going to get the template for this, and then we're going to draw it ourselves because I want it to be clean, and this is going to do it as if I didn't want it pixely, because it's going to be like, why would you want it pixely? And I'm like, because I wanted it pixely. Let's start here. Okay. That looks like about the right size. Whoops. It's not the size I wanted, because that's a 3 pixel edge. Hey everybody, welcome. Hey Poetic Gangsta. Now that I think it was made, Janisku, yeah, we could have done this with Unity. I originally actually planned on doing this game in Unity, but we didn't, which is fine. Okay, so now let's grab this. I'm not going to use the ellipse anymore. I'm going to do a rectangle, solid rectangle, and we're going to figure out where these want, because this did like... So that did kind of pixely, but remember, we're trying to do this not as... Like, we're intentionally doing this not as pretty. That was our goal. We want this to look blocky. That's our style. Poetic Gangsta, yes, you can absolutely ask a question. So let's do that. Lose these two, and those two, and then there we go. So there's a little bit of pixel art there. And then I am going to... Let me go one more on each of these. There we go. So, there we go. I like it. Okay. So now let's take this, and I'm going to select these two. I'm going to copy, paste it, and I'm going to rotate. There we go. So now I have my sides set up the same way. So those edges should be identical. Now I want to clean up this. So that edge, you'll notice that I have, like, it looked way nicer before, right? Like, that's a nice style, you can see it. We're intentionally blocky. That's our style. We're blocky. We want to look cute and pixely. We're like, this is we're not trying to do, you know, modern game here. Okay, so let's clear those. I think probably we can get away with 2 there, and then maybe it's 1. Let's figure out what style this needs to be to get over there. So there's 1. Right, because it came from the 3, so it doesn't work, so I don't line up correctly. I gotta do that then, which I'm not a big fan of. because this is not the right size. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're adding one extra row there, getting rid of that. No, let's come in. What am I doing? Let's go in. Let me go in one space. Let's go in. We're going in one more block. There we go. Whole thing, copy, paste, and let's rotate again. Delete that row. Delete that row. Let's hide the lower layer now. There we go. Okay, so let's kill these. Did that question get asked? I didn't see. What keeps you going to coding? Because you're learning C++ and you don't feel like the same energy when you started coding. Oh, there is a lot of things. That is actually Poetic Gangsta. There's I would tell you one of the best things you could do is do something you find interesting. So or is useful to you. So one of the things that always helped me is I worked on projects that I was going to use. So some of the things I did was like, I was a tabletop gamer. I still am a tabletop gamer. I did pen and paper role-playing games back when I was learning to program, and I would make little programs to help me with stuff. So things like I was running a campaign, I made a campaign manager to help me manage all the information I needed for my game. So that's one of the things that I did. When I was in college, my friends and I wrote programs to try and trash each other's computers. So we would reinstall an operating system on our laptops, and each of us would, and these are like old crummy laptops from forever ago, keep in mind they're not like the modern nice ones we have today, but we'd reinstall an OS on there, whether it be like Linux or Windows, and we obviously had someone with a Mac, and so then we would basically write programs in C++ that would try to trash the computer different ways, and we would then see like, you would run the other person's, code on your computer and see if you could recover out of it and stuff like that. So it was very fun. We were a little weird, but hey, we enjoyed it. Okay, so, whoops, those didn't get written down there. That's funny. Yeah, so find interesting things. So, I mean, for example, we're writing this game here, and I think a lot of people here find this one kind of enjoyable and fun. We're trying to create it for a cool purpose that we can kind of work on together. So single block there, single block there. Okay, so now I can take this and I can cut right at the midpoint. And I can bring this down here. And I can do that. And now I've got my little ring. So that is my, whoops, you guys aren't supposed to see that. That is our little, that's our little H there that we're creating. Yeah, so exactly, Poetic. As SMB mentioned, the same kind of thing. You've got to work on projects that you want to be interested in. As long as you do that, you'll keep learning stuff, so find a way to do something that helps you. Glad to hear it, Echo Strike. One of the other things you can do is make sure you get involved in stuff. Find some other people that are interested in the same kinds of things you are, and that will help as well. So if you've got other people that are interested in coding that can work with you, that is very, very useful. Okay. So we have that. I liked one thing in one of these. I like that little dashed line or something like that, or we could put it in some kind of a pad like that one is, something like that. So some of these have like a pad that they're on in addition. So we could almost make it like a circular pad that it's on. Something like that. That one has a little yellow line around it. I like that. So something. So let's try to do that. Let's see if we can make one that looks nice. So some kind of a yellow. So we will grab a yellow color. That's a little. That's too orange. That's not bad. So I basically I fiddle around with colors when I'm trying to find what I like. I just mess with these until I'm like, yeah, that looks decent, and then I just try it out. I'm no artist by any stretch, so let's do this. We could wrap the whole thing. I could just do this. Just put a yellow border on it. Oh, whoops, I'm on the background. Derp. Don't do that, Brendan. Don't do that. Let's go up here. Top layer, add yellow border. So nice big yellow border. I think if you saw that, you'd probably figure out what that is, no matter where it is, that, hey, that's the helicopter pad. And no, I'm not going to try to draw a helicopter on it. Let's bring me back to Degas Elite and Deluxe Paint. You could be, Fuel Snable, you could be. Okay, so that... I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I think that works as a basic starting helicopter pad, so... In that case, let's merge these layers down. So that's now one layer. We're calling that good. And we are going to do a save as, and yep, it's going to be a ping. And this is going to be helipad 0.ping. So there we go. Our starting helipad. So that'll be the actual, like, you escaped kind of escape. And you live to be on the next, in another adventure. So, let's do that. So somewhere in this code, I wrote the word died. There it is. So we said the player died. We said that's how your game ended. Which kinda works. One sec. Hey, sorry about that, everyone. Still have my cold, obviously. Okay, so died. Died's not the only way you can end game. What calls end game? There's its declaration. Frame. Oh yeah, delay, and then call end game when it's done. Update friend, is game over, call end game. Is game over doesn't define how we gamed over. So let's add that. This dot end type equals that for now. I'm not huge on it, but we'll just use a string for now, and it's not the worst thing. Okay, so update frame, we said, there it is game over equals true, because the player's dead. We'll say this dot underscore end type equals died. To do, we need a constant for this somewhere at minimum, so I'm actually going to create that now. let's find where would be a good place to store this. We have some things. Metadata might not be the worst. For now, I think we already include those. Okay, so let's do that. Const. Export class metadata. We could also export class end types. Welcome guys. Mafid, I'm guessing is your name, and I apologize if I just butchered that, but if I did, let me know how to pronounce it. I'll try to say it better next time. How did I learn things? I would probably say I'm originally a community-taught developer. I don't like the term self-taught. I like community-taught because it emphasizes the fact that I really did learn a lot from the developer community. The internet in the 90s helped me quite a bit in figuring things out when I first started programming. I went to college for computer science, so I learned a lot about programming there as well. And then I've been working professionally as a programmer, basically since I was in college. I think that's probably a fairly similar story for a lot of people. Also, Farouk, hey, it's going reasonably well. I'm a little sick, so you can probably hear that in my voice. But, hey, I missed the last episode, so I figured, you know what, let's just go ahead and do a sick one. I think you guys would rather have an episode where my voice is a little different than miss another stream, so... did I get that? No, I got that wrong. There we go. Now the spacing seems right. So, yep. For end types, let's go ahead and make a constant. We'll call it end type died. We'll set it equal to, for now, just died. Which we'll use down here as return that value, and this will be died. Returns a string, and there you go. So now we'll say escaped. We'll say end type escaped for now. Duplicate that line, put that in, and we'll say escaped. So there's our constants for our strings. Have I considered TypeScript? Dan, so we're intentionally doing vanilla JS for this one. I like it for that. And yes, you're right. So I am planning on doing some TypeScript on the stream at some point, but I wanted to make sure that we started with vanilla JavaScript. So that's why we're doing a bunch of vanilla JavaScript, and I'm hoping that in the future when we do some TypeScript things, I can point people back to this part of our series here on the stream where we were doing vanilla JavaScript. But yeah, that's the idea, and I think it is important for anybody using TypeScript to know how JavaScript works as well, because I don't think there's any way you're going to totally avoid JavaScript. So then JavaScript really has improved quite a bit since the creation of TypeScript originally. It's added a lot of the same kinds of concepts that TypeScript was adding. So let me take a look back in here. Let me see, where did we export? We imported metadata, and let's import, in addition to metadata, we're going to import end types. So we're importing metadata and end types from that one. So that gives us access to end types here. So instead of saying died, as I believe I hard-coded that in here for now, not start game, there it is. End types dot died. So there we go. So we can set that equal right there. And the other option is that we escaped. Now I'm not sure how we want to handle the escape. So it's going to happen on a move by the player every single time. So we could say else if this dot underscore player, and then would it be player escaped? Would it be level escaped? To do add an escape check here. So that's what we'll say. Let's jump down to where we sent the data back to the server. Where is that? Right here. There's died. So we're going to send up the end type. The last thing we need to do is change how we reset. So where's the reset in here? Because we need to, wherever we set is game over to false again, that's where we want to be. And some of the code in here is temporary and is only used for debugging while we're building this, and should not actually be used when the game is live. Ah, it's right here. So we want to do that after that. End game type, blanked it out. Which actually, we could do this afterwards as well, just to make sure we don't mess anything up. Let's do our resetting code after that. So we'll send that info first. We can disable the ability for our mouse down events. So those are the key down, mouse down stuff. And hey, welcome everybody from CM Griffing's raid. Can we get some hype in the chat there? Let's get some hype in the chat. Let's welcome them over. And there's one other thing I need to do, which is to turn this on. Because I need to activate our defenses. We're going to go ahead and do that. There we go. And yeah, sorry about that, guys. If you are not a subscriber to the channel, you do get an ad when you come over. So, sorry about that, but welcome. Hopefully everybody is having a pretty good day. We're doing a little bit of streaming here. We're doing C# and JavaScript. So, pretty fun stuff. And yes, Echo Strike, it does start with a colon character. So if you do like, if you type in like, you can probably get away with typing that much, and then you can tab complete the DevChatter hype. So welcome everybody. We're doing a little bit of C# and JavaScript. My name is Brendan. You can find that there. If you want to see the stream in the future, I recommend you hit the follow button to make sure that you get notified. And for everybody that was in my chat already, that don't know, we just got rated by CM Griffing. Information there and link to check out that stream over there. I have watched his stream a few times, and it's pretty good. I enjoy it, although obviously was not watching it today because I was streaming, like right now. How did the stream go? I think you said that you had a good. I assume it was a pretty good stream. All right, so we are recording the end type. We need to add a new. We need to add an escape. So for anyone that is wondering what we are working on a little game that we can play in the chat, and I will show you what it looks like. Hang on, let me turn that off. Go over here, refresh that page. And thanks for that follow, I feed on mid. I just realized, so you're a mid laner, right? Okay, so it was good. Worked on making a presentation for the Angular Seattle meetup group. Oh, that's really cool. I have actually not, so I've only done a little bit of presentation prep on my stream before. We did a little bit of C# stuff before I did a C# talk. So we actually just drew this little pixel art thing here a little bit ago. That's our little helipad for our escape. And I will show you what this looks like by opening up this. So let's go ahead and start up the game, which gives us this. So this is our game that we've been working on. Yeah, exactly, feeding mid laners. Yep, see, Ivy knows it too. See, the couple of gamers here in the chat know exactly what you're talking about with that name. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up that sword, and I'm going to attempt to escape and fail. Oh no, I broke something. What did I break? And clearance water. That's a good name. I like it. Let's see. I want to go to, what was it, effect item? That's interesting. No, it was exit item, get amount for effect. Effect item line 63. Apply effect of the exit item. Okay. This is not a pickup item. Effect point map dot length. It's like my exit item got created wrong. So on pickup an exit item, we attempt to apply the effect of an exit item. So let's take a look. Did I create the exit item wrong? Oh, wait, I bet I know what I did. Hang on, I know what I did. I screwed this up. That was me. I decided not to do a thing. You guys are gonna laugh. I'm like 90% sure that when I created the exit item, exit, let's say new exit. So inside the level when I created that, yep, right here, I gave it a name. And then we decided not to name it. And so that messed up all the parameters because I put name first. So we did not name our exit items. So inside of exit item, which calls the parameter item, I need to call that exit, because an exit item is always going to be called an exit. So hence I'm just going to put that in there. So we did not actually add that to the exit item because it didn't need it. But I do need to name the item because we made it so the base type needed it. And you run into the problem with inheritance, is when you end up with a parameter that you did not really need to have, and you end up with anyway. Well, that's a bummer, because I actually liked that exit we did there. So I should clarify for anyone that is wondering, everything, so I'm using the keyboard to give the inputs in this game, but I don't actually need to do that. All of these commands can be done from chat. Okay, so the exit's working again. I can grab my axe and I can exit. We don't yet have an escape, though. So I can just keep on playing until I die. And now when I die, it's going to report back that I had no items and that I died on whatever level that was. So level 5 with 120 points and I was holding nothing. So that information gets sent from the JavaScript on that web page up to the server and then through Twitch chat onto your screen. So that's how you're all seeing that. And when we send that, that actually worked pretty well. So we have fixed that. So this is... I'm going to delay, since we didn't actually add the escape, I'm not going to commit that one yet. But this is, we're naming items, essentially. And before I send that up here, actually, adding item names to on game end. Okay. So there we go. We need to add a different type of end game. Right now, the only way that we end the game is when you die. We want to add the actual escape. So that's why we created that little helipad little piece of pixel art there. We need to create that. So, and yes, it is literally just, it is Visual Studio's linting that is failing just horribly. And that's why we're getting all these red squigglies and it's reporting back errors in here. It's really kind of annoying. I'm thinking about switching to VS Code just so it stops complaining. Okay, so we have an exit item, an effect item, and item. I want to have an escape item. This is going to be, let's copy exit item for it. Escape item. Now, escape could mean a variety of things. Right now, it's going to mean helicopter escape. But escape could mean you got to a safe house or something like that. So we're going to try to build those in. And welcome, Nerko and Schmidt. I'm guessing are those two? Thanks for those follows, by the way. Streamlabs will figure out that you did that in a moment. Okay, so this is escape item, not exit item. So this is going to be class escape item, and it's not going to work exactly like an exit item. It's going to be an effect item. So we're going to have effect item and item effect type both need to get imported. And then it's not going to have an exit, it's going to have an escape. So for anyone that doesn't know, and welcome by the way, both of you, symbols are a fairly new addition to JavaScript. ES6 I think is where these come in. I don't remember exactly. I think it was ES6 added them in. Essentially, they let us create a symbol that we can use for different purposes. Think of this kind of like a way of doing a comparison of a consistently generated random object. Like it's a consistently generated object that we don't know what it is. We don't have to worry about what it is, but we know that this is uniquely created. So I don't know why that's escape. Why that was exit. So we're going to say entity item escape. So this is the message that we're going to publish, is the idea. So this one, you'll see it did exit message exit there. We want escape item message escape is what we're going to create. So that makes escape item message is dot escape. Was it not escape like that? Oh, it wasn't? Hang on. Is that? Oh, when I did that. Okay, so that was me. Maybe something auto-completed that way. Maybe I didn't read it very carefully. Okay, so escape item message, messages.escape. So this is our collection of possible messages related to exiting. Now, maybe we make it so the exit item has... we could actually... Ooh. Do we make them different types of exit items? One that escapes and one that does this? Ooh, that's a good question. So we're going to publish an escape. Hang on one sec. Let me look for this. We might be able to get away with that. Let's see. Source entity. So we publish the escape. We want to say... Instead of level next, I want to say escape, maybe? Nervous Descent. Greetings, welcome. Thank you for that follow. Much appreciated. So when they hit this, we're going to say escape. Let's do that. So let's go up to game. So that's wasteful.js. from end game. Right after move player, I'm going to add in escape for now. And I'm just going to say this dot is game over equals true, and this dot end type equals end types dot escape. I don't need to do that check anymore. We're doing it right here. So that'll continue on. And then because we did an end game, when it goes to update, it's going to immediately see, oh, we're in game over, and it's an escape. So when we created the exit item, is that when I declare the points for it? It's inside of level. In level, we create an exit item. New exit item, and we assign a health refresh and a number of points that are going to get applied when we touch it. So we can do that same concept on the escape. So we can give you a bunch of points for escaping. Let's work on that. Let's add that. So I think our escape is gonna work. Let me do this. In next, I'm gonna create an escape item. Let's just put the escape item. For now, I'm just gonna put it at 0, 0. So we're gonna put the escape in the top left corner. So we're just going to put it there for now. We're not going to worry about it. It's going to be in the top left corner. No big deal. That's where escape is going to be. So there's escape. Now inside of level, I want to create this thing. And yes, I'm just going to create it every single time right now. So we're going to say escape equals new escape item. And it's going to take in this dot underscore game. It is also going to take in a new sprite that I'm going to create for it. That is going to be images, ZChatter, helipad0.png, 1, 1, 1. Those are its size and everything. Item type dot it is a consumable item. Item pickup type is instant, so we do not hold these, they just trigger. And then this is going to be just an item effective points, because it is going to apply its own. Yeah, Dissidents, I'm not sure why everybody's lurking today. Normally it's much more active in the chat, but it could be just that I'm talking, I don't know. It's usually a lot more active. And then inside of this, that is going to be... ooh, does this one get a raid no matter what? There we go. Let's say item effect type dot points. And we'll say the points are... How much do you get for exiting? 100 points? 100 points for exiting? There we go. Get 100 points if you exit. This needs to get declared up at the top. Superbrain. Yeah, the JavaScript's an interesting one. It is just another language. Runs in the browser, works pretty well. So, yeah, this is Dissidents. This is actually a very laid-back stream for me. We have a reasonable number of people lurking, and as you can probably tell, I've got a bit of a cold, so that's actually, I missed my Thursday stream. So we actually do 4 streams, and I'm usually much more animated than this, too. We do Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays here. Let's see, so I create the helipad, and then I need to add it. So let's add this item into the game. So entity manager add this _ escape. And that should make it. So, okay, let's see if that works. We're gonna go over here, refresh. We're gonna start up the game. Hey, there's a helipad up in the top left corner. Nice. Let's see if I can't escape with my sword, though. Okay, so it says game over. Let's see what it says when it reports back in chat. DevChatter has blank on level 2 with 138 points while holding a sword. So it definitely applied our points because we got 138, but it didn't say how I escaped. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Will. Fleischkotze? I'm actually not sure what that word means. I mean, I know what Fleisch is, but... Okay, so why did we not say that? Did I not add that word in? Hang on. Metadata. Escaped. End type. Escaped. Whoops. No, that's not right. Escaped. D, there it is, escaped. Oh, thanks, JavaScript. Thanks, JavaScript. You're the best. Oh, well, that's lovely, Ivy. Thanks for that translation. That's great. You're busy implementing formlets on top of Fable Elmish and just listening to the stream in the background. Yeah, there you go, Fuel Snable. The one advantage of JavaScript frameworks is that the web page don't seem to read. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, Superbrain. You are totally correct there. So JavaScript lets you actually have interactivity on the page, so you don't have to just work through individual web requests to refresh everything. Users tend to like it, Superbrain. They like the responsiveness. In this case, we're doing a game, so those inputs would not be that nice without it. And yes, as Fuel Stable mentions, it runs in the browser, which also gets to the fact that if you have a lot of user, the more work you can do in the browser, the more things you can essentially offload to the user to run themselves. Because their device is able to do a little bit of JavaScript processing, and then that saves you some effort you would have otherwise had to do on the server. So if you have a lot of users, you can save yourself a little bit of effort by having some of the work done on their end. Okay. I like if shipping first, there's no browser support in native. That's true, Fuel Snable. Although someone might do a Blazor equivalent for F#, so who knows? Okay, so either way, I think that will work. Add an escape item. But I don't actually want it to be where it is, so let's not do it there. So the escape item works. Let's not commit this way. That's true, Superbrain. You can definitely get away with some caching to help with things. Users tend to like what you do with JavaScript a lot of times, though. And thank you for that, Janiscu. Escape item. We said escape. We were just putting it in that location. We don't want to do that. We want the escape to be placed somewhere. So actually, let's... let's receive where it's going. To X and Y. So we're going to set its location based on what we're told. So the escape item, we need to know where that's going to appear. We'll probably want to do the same thing with the exit item eventually as well. Let's go back to our level and take a look at... so level next... our escape item, the last things on the escape item need to be the X and the Y. Except I actually only want to create an escape item if we need one. So let's do this. We're gonna make, so there's spawn zombie. We're gonna have add escape. Just to kind of hide this away a little bit. How hard is it to turn the CF framework into a standalone UI technology that any C++ app can import and have a JavaScript-based UI? I do not have a good answer for you on that one, Dissidents. I do not have a good answer. That is not something I'm planning on doing. Okay, so we have this. I need to get its location. Find path from this to the exit location. Okay, so okay, so let's do this. Let required location equal that. Okay. No path exits exist. Try again. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to do there. Essentially saying that that's going to be the required exit location. So that's grabbing the previous exit. Only manager clear. No number old exits location was undefined if there is an old exit. Game entity manager this player. So we add the player back in. We add either the exit or. So let's do this. What do we start the level number at? 0, and then we increment before the first level. So this is going to be level 1. So that means we're going to say level 5 is the exit, level 4 or 3? Level 3 is the exit? We'll do level 3 as the exit. Exit will be on level 3. Okay. So the first escape is level 3. So we're going to say level equals, if level number this dot underscore level number equals 3, and yes, we're gonna create a mapping for this stuff at some point. We want to make sure that this is all in some kind of a data object that stores all the data of where this stuff is. Let's see. My obscure point was that JavaScript has many flaws, but it runs in the browser. To a language I prefer, I might need to use unsupported Blazor compilers or flaky. Yeah, exactly. So that is part of the problem that FuelSnable mentions is for developers that don't like JavaScript, of which there are plenty of developers that don't like JavaScript. It's one of the best things about the programming world is as long as you don't hate every language, you can usually find a language that you do enjoy and are willing to work with. So it's one of the great things about the programming industry right now. We can actually get away with that kind of stuff. Let me actually, you know what I just realized? I could make exit be a new escape item. Sorry, I just realized something. So this is actually going to save me a lot of effort. Anyway, so the point is that if a lot of us can get away with that kind of thing, and the challenge, though, is that JavaScript has a lot of momentum behind it. There are a lot of devs that love it, so it's getting a lot of attention, a lot of improvements, a lot of changes having to do with JavaScript. It can be used in a lot of places. It's not just for running in the browsers anymore. So that's one of the neat things about it. But, to plenty of people, that's not an improvement. Instead of, let me change how add escape works. I'm going to make it create escape. Create escape. And instead of doing this, we're just going to return it. Return a new escape. And that's what it's going to do. And then I'm going to do the same thing with exit. So create exit. Let's go steal the exit code now. Take this right down to there. I'm going to put it down and create exit. And again, this is just going to return. Then when I go up here, I am going to say this dot underscore exit equals. It's probably someone saying something about the code I'm making right now. We're going to say exit equals underscore create exit, and I almost forgot I got a this dot these. This dot underscore, there we go. This dot underscore level number is that. Create an escape, create an exit, and then either way, store it in the energy manager as that. Okay, cool. Andy from Lithuania. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Would I sound very posh saying that programmers should love problem solving no matter the language and tools behind it? No, that is actually a fairly valid statement. You'll find a lot of developers that do complain about various programming languages. We do get annoyed by technology pretty easily. But what I love about programming, while I do love C#, for example, and I do love JavaScript, they're both fun languages to use. Really, the thing I like is programming, regardless of the language. So, I mean, if I was using Python, I'd still love programming. If I was using Java, I'd still love programming. Give me a language, I'll write some code in it. That tends to be one of the unique things about programmers, is that we tend to like solving problems, we tend to like creating stuff. That's really our thing. Okay, so this put it up there in the top left corner. Let's go, I'm going to steal this again. We're going to put this back to doing what it did before. So we're going to drop its location back the same way that it did previously. So we're going to ignore that, which means I go back to level and I don't pass these two parameters. So escaping is going to work the same way. It's going to go in the same spot the exit did. It's just going to be a helicopter instead of an escape. And then the other thing I wanted to change is, no, Will, I wouldn't hate programming even using VB. I've had to use VB before. We joke about it, but it's really not that bad. Okay. Turn number. Let's increase that turn number. I want fewer zombies. So we're going to say turn number equals 8. Turn number is divisible by 8, and that. So if you just take a while, we do spawn a new one. And I want to slow down the zombie spawning if I can. So let me go to that as well. We're going to jump over to simple zombie. Let's see, how hard is it to add to its state? Spawnable components, this, so fresh gravestone right there. Spawnable component, and then it becomes attackable. I'm gonna get that later. Let's try this as is. Okay, so let's see if we can make this work. I am going to go back into the web page. I am going to do a refresh. I'm going to hop over here, and we're going to go ahead and start up the game again. So there it is. Hey, Twitchloff! Welcome! Thank you for those 138 biddies. Yes, this is episode 138. Hey, and Simon's there too. Welcome, everybody. Glad, good try, Andy. That's not the right command. But you're right. You can play from in there. Yeah, if you're sick of typing, go F#. So VB is a lot of typing. F# is going to be a lot less typing. Even with Blazor, there's JavaScript interop. Yep. VB, because I'm sick of typing. Nothing wrong with VB6, ran most of the IT for some... Yes, exactly, Simon. Yes, 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 yes. Precisely. VB has run so many programs, has done so much for the development, for business world in general for so long. It's really impressive. Okay, so I got killed there. We're not resetting the turn number, I realize. That's why. That's the problem. Turn number needs to get reset back to 0 when we start a new level. So when we do a new level, we need to set turn number equal to 0, which means turn number does not need to get defined up there. Because turn number is going to get created when we call next the first time. And then update's going to increase the turn number, and then we're going to check the turn number. So we should not spawn a zombie on the initial start. W start. Okay, so I have escaped with my sword. I'm going to grab that Pepsi before I exit. I'm going to grab the axe. And this is the helipad right here, so this should be an escape. So that should actually be a legit escape and an exit. Successful escape with items. Has escaped on the level with level 3 with 164 points while holding an axe. Yes! That is perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Awesome. Alright, let me check out chat real fast here. If you like object-oriented, you can write TypeScript. Yeah, that's very true, Janiscu. If you don't like JavaScript and you want it to be more like a static language, so closer to C#, TypeScript is a great way to do that. And Will, your first job out of the Army, you quit when they brought in contractors who only knew VB. Oh, nice. Yes, I have had to, as a contractor, work with the existing team where I basically had to spend almost 90% of my time fixing stuff they broke. I've had to do that as well. Yeah, so you can die before level 2. It just depends on how things are set up. You're starting to dislike object-oriented, but you still love C#. Twitchlove, yeah, that's part of the reason why C# is adding a lot of concepts that are not object-oriented. They tried to write Java, but failed horribly. Wow. Java's actually pretty easy. I mean, if you're already programming with a lot of stuff, it's not a very difficult step. What was the tools of any product you hated? Tools. Previous at the time on new product language, 90% of those. Oh yeah. That is totally valid there, Simon. Okay, so cool. So that stuff works. So I think I want to put the escape one level further away. So let's put the escape on level 4, just so it's a little harder to get to. Actually, no, we'll leave it on level 3 for now. We're going to make it easy to escape. We'll let people escape pretty easily. This is V1 of the game. So we're going to commit the helipad, the escape item, the level, wasteful.js. So there's escape, there's a level. I think that's going to be good. So allow escaping instead of just death. Okay, so cool. That works nicely. So now we want to save this stuff on the server. So now we have a way of escaping, so let's go ahead and make sure that we save that you escaped or died, which one it was, and treat the circumstances differently. 1 second, everybody. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Obviously, I've mentioned this a few times. I've got a cold, so that's why I have to step off the screen there for a second. I assume none of you want to watch and or listen to me blowing my nose. Okay, so let's jump over to the server side for a little bit. So server side, our C# is actually getting all this data, so let's do something with it. My first language was Applesoft Basic. Hang on, let me see what's going on here. It sounds like... Hey, congratulations, Janisku and SNB, on choosing paper in the rock, paper, scissors game. There you go. Alright, so player has end type on level... Okay, so let's do something. So we get this data up on the server. And I love how Janisku knows which quote to use. Not that I've got all that many quotes in there. Okay. Survivor. Okay, so that creates him. Game end record. Let's adjust the game end record. Survivor, date, level number, points. Level number and points. Oh, and then we add the survivor down there. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But we need something else on this. We need to have end type equals end type for now. So we want to add that. Even the quotes are rigged. This is basic is for people getting their feet wet. Yeah. Exactly. So as Will mentioned, a lot of the basic languages, that's designed for it to be easy to step in. But once you know it, you can move to some of the other things. So those are designed to be easy. Yep. Yes, they're great for that, because a lot of beginning programmers get scared when we pull out like all the curly braces, parentheses, and various other symbols that we use in these other languages where everything's all symbol based. Okay, so let's add in a property called end type. For now, let's just leave it as a string. Not big on that being a string, but we'll map it somewhere. Because we could have more than one end type. We could have like an optional escape at some point that you could go beyond. And the last thing... we do not want another piece here. We want to keep track of the player's inventory. So that needs to be a separate concept. So actually, let's go over here. Model for this. Let's see. What do we want to call this? So this is like. So that's a survivor. This is like their inventory is like what the table is. It's almost like it's an inventory item, is what they have. Inventory item. Name. Int uses. And this is applied to a survivor. So if you die, we don't save your items. If you live, we do. I think is how we're going to have to do it. Trying to track down a call stack by hand on a dot matrix printout with a pen because of... There you go. There you go, Simon. Alright, so there's the survivor. We have name, we have uses. Inside of here, we need to move all this code out of here so that we don't just record it all right here. Lazarus, hey, welcome. Thanks. Have a good one. Glad you stopped by. Alright. So let's do var... let's say... That's yeah. Okay, so survivor. So we're creating a survivor, or we're going to create a game record. So game records on that. So repository create survivor. Repository create a game record. Game end record. That's a good point. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We could tie them to a game record. Let's tie them to a game record. No, we'll tie them to the player. If we tie them to the player, then we know what you currently have. So, inventory item is tied to a survivor, which means a survivor has a list of inventory items. List of inventory item that we'll call inventory items. That equals a new list of inventory items. Inside of here, when we create the survivor, we either add the list there, or we're saving the records of that. I think either way we want to update the survivor. So let's do this. So this is create the survivor, this is update the survivor. So if survivor equals null, add them and add the records. Otherwise, set the survivor equal to that. Let's do this the same way. So let's do this regardless. And we're instead going to say update the survivor. So we'll update the survivor with the game records added. So we're going to do it that way. What's the difference between our create and update on these? Let me confirm that. Hang on. Are we actually doing anything different? Create, update, update, save changes, add, and save changes. Yeah, okay. In either case, I want to add our list of items. So, held item. I think I want to change it so it's just an inventory item. So, which way do I want this to go? I want the DTO to know about an inventory item, but not the other way around, I think. So let's go to that. We're going to go to this, and we're going to say public inventory item to inventory item. We're going to say return new inventory item. Name equals name. And uses equals uses. And we return that, and all is well. So there we go. How often do you incorporate UMLs for projects? So Andy, yeah, so we have had a little bit of UML stuff for one of our projects. I don't often go about it just because I try to mostly keep the stream focused on the programming aspect of things. I haven't done a lot of the side stuff intentionally. I do still do the pixel art sometimes on stream, so we drew our little helipad here on the stream, but that's because it's at least visually interesting, and so is something we can do there. UML, I guess, is visually interesting, but I don't think people usually like it. Oh, the word was reboot. Oh, I like that word. That's a good one. Now I'm going to get someone saying that reboot's not a word or something, because that's what usually happens when we do this. Okay, items. So let's do this. So we're gonna say inventory items dot add. And we're gonna say items dot select x dot to inventory item. Oh, that was add a single one. Add range. There we go. So regardless, we're going to add to that. So I guess what I can do is this. So here's what I'm going to do. No, I don't want to save that right now. Okay, so I'm going to allow that bit of repetition. We'll fix it later. You want to flip that? No. Okay, let's go ahead and try this. What happens if you try to add a range with argument null? What is going to happen? Well, let's try it, everybody. Let's find out what happens. Let's go ahead and start it. So, W start. There's our game. So first off, let's try and escape with the bat. Ooh, that hurt. I do not get to escape with the axe either. Well, that's a bummer. In fact, I don't think I get to escape at all. Oh, nope, I do. Okay, so I get to escape with no items. This may fail still. We might crash. I escaped on level 3, 149 points while holding nothing. The question then is, did it succeed or fail? Did we throw an exception? We might have succeeded. Let me take a look. Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, that's totally gonna bomb. It doesn't even know what those are. It doesn't know what to do with those. It didn't save anything. It was going to totally ignore that. However, if we got a game end record, that shows that we didn't throw an exception on it. 149 points, level 3, that's it, right there. So it did save it. We got the record, and we didn't have any items in it. So that means that none of that blew up, even though we didn't have any items. So that's a good sign. What is this? VS trick to draw the DB diagram. Oh yeah, Andy. Yes, you're right. Yes. Most UML diagrams are just crappy boxes, and SMB's correct. SQL Server Management Studio can just create those diagrams for you. We can take a look at that at some point, Andy. I created a program called dir, edited command.com and changed it to the dir command, and my program gave a dir listing of everything but the unauthorized file. That is really funny, Will. That's a good trick. I remember in school they locked it down, so we... Oh, that's awesome, Simon. That's a good trick. You played Adventure on the University mainframe. Yep. Hey, Loot Pigeon, welcome. Yeah, and Johnny B. Cat, welcome as well. I see you there talking. Greetings. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so let's go ahead and save these. So I want to go ahead and get us database table for this. So someone's going to yell at me if I don't do this. So we're going to go ahead and pick this one. We're going to say add migration test. Let's see if it lets us get away with that. And Johnny B. Cat, thank you for that follow. Much appreciated. Oh, it's failing to build. Derp. I can't build right now because the existing program is not letting go of the files. That's why that failed there. So build failed. Yes, there's a big nostalgia fest. More than 1 dB context. Okay, that's fine. Context. What did I call it? Game data context? There it is. Copy. Whoops. Come back here. Wait, what? Oh, dash context. Whoops. I was like, what? Why did I do that? Oh! Oh, sorry. That was my bad. This needs to be a... game data? Should be. There we go. Sorry about that thing. You're totally correct. Alright. Good job, Entity Framework. I missed that. That was my bad. Send me one thing what is on my channel. A friend of mine used to take backups of the most precious code on the other side of the disk. That's funny. Who was a cool kid with a sound blaster? Lots of people, Will. I think the biggest problem was that use hairdryer to yes, I have courses on Pluralsight. I don't have anything in Unity on there. I actually need to learn Unity. I am planning on learning Unity, though, Johnny. I am actually working on a course for them right now, so I have another one that will be coming out. We're just getting some things finalized on that. So we're going to add end type to game records. We're going to create a table of inventory items that have an identity column, an int identity column on the ID. They have an associated survivor that is going to be a foreign key, I hope. Yep, foreign key right there. Primary key is ID. And we're going to create an index on it for survivor ID so we can look up inventory items quickly based on the survivor ID. So that looks about right to me. So what I always do is I go in here and I created that with the name test, and then I'm going to discard these 3 changes. Yep, those are the 3 changes I want to get rid of. And now I'm going to run it again, this time with the correct name. So we're adding end type and inventory. Remembering when zip drives came from a big chunk, with big chunky cartridges. Yes. What's a disk? Exactly, Johnny. So I am working on a clean coding course for Pluralsight. I don't think they would mind that I talk about that being a course that I am working with them to make. Okay, so now I want to do this. Now that we have that there, let's see if we can make this code run. So I'm going to do update database. Sorry, everybody, that is behind my head. You'll see that in a second. So, oh, I didn't specify the DB context. Let's do that then. Update database based on that DB context, because there's more than one. Wait, what? Test was not oh, son of a... I left that in there. That was my bad. There we go. So it applies it, and we're good. So now we should have that new table. If I refresh this, expand the tables, you'll see that inventory item is now in there. Let's go ahead and give the game a shot. See what we can do. Refresh the page. See if everything works. Oh, whoops, site's not running. I forgot, I killed it. That's my bad. Restart the site. There we go. You love zip drives. Totally thought they would rule the world until USB stick. Yeah, Fuel Snable. So zip drives were pretty awesome, but the problem is we now look at them and say they have almost no storage. Let's see. You're setting Arc servers so you web alarms so you make them out as well. Arc as in the game, Janisko? I used to love cracking games back in the day, either hacking the data or disassembling and adding jumps or something. The data. Yeah, well, you can still do that kind of stuff, actually, especially with Unity being around. You can definitely mess with stuff. Should I, a QA person, be afraid of regular code being dirty? Johnny B. Cat, so it depends on what you're doing with QA, because a lot of people, so if you're doing mostly QA work, you're probably not reviewing the code as much. But if you ever do write any code, there is a lot of use in knowing stuff about clean code. There have been a lot of books and things written about this concept and how to write things that are fairly clean. Let's go ahead and refresh that. We'll scroll down to the bottom of the page. Hang on, everybody. I see stuff going on in chat. I will be back to look at that in a moment. Let's go ahead and start up the game. There it is. Okay, cool. Cutie Twit. So welcome. Hi. Greetings. You asked what kind of project this is. So we actually are building a... so the main thing that we're working on is a chat bot, and it actually does a lot of things in the chat. There are various games and stuff like that. We want to make a chat bot that a lot of people can use. So specifically, we want to get other streamers who are programmers using our same chat bot. So we want to try and get a community around that are developing this bot together. So hopefully we can get some people doing that, and we'll see what we can get with it. But right now we are building it, and it's working pretty well. So most of what we do is C# and JavaScript code here on the stream, so this is a combination of the two that makes this work, and part of what we're building right now is a game. So this game is actually played through the chat and appears next to me over here normally, but since we're developing it, I have it in a browser window and I have the overlay turned off that would display it right there. So that's why it's that narrow strip, is that is designed to be able to fit in the space down below the stream. So that's the goal. Welcome, thanks for that follow, by the way. And yeah, Janisco, you were talking about the game, I thought so. And so the way that it works is I want to make it so that the chat plays the game and we're keeping track of inventory, so if you escape, you can actually enter the next time with the items that you previously played with. And so we have various teams and other things like that. So whether or not we keep this game as part of the bot, it's in there right now, but I'm keeping it separate enough that if we decide this is a separate application, we can do that pretty easily and say, no, this isn't going to be part of the main bot, this will be separate, and maybe it'll be modular, so like if you want it in the bot, you add it in. So we're figuring that out. Okay. Assembly skills, Erickson's low-level, yeah, Fuel Stable, that's actually a very good point. Even if you're doing some basic low-level debugging, it is good to have some various skills. And as Simon mentions, clean coding can apply to QA if you are doing automated QA. So if in your QA job you're doing a lot of automated testing, then understanding the concepts of clean code would be very important. And Johnny B. Cat, you mentioned the book Clean Code by Robert Martin. That book is actually listed down below. If you are interested, anybody, there is actually a panel down below the stream that includes links to various books I recommend, as well as the stuff that I have for streaming. So Stream Deck, lighting stuff, webcam, microphone, that sort of thing. So if you want to know about streaming stuff, that's down below, and so is the details of books that I recommend. So let's see. Glad to hear it, cutie. Great, I look forward to... Sounds good. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what happens. So normally when you'd play this game, you would control it through chat. You can actually use chat commands. That's why I have a chat window displayed over here to do all the movement, but it's a little bit faster if I just do it with a keyboard while we're trying this stuff. So we're just checking to see how the game works. So I want to try and get that sword if I can. Can I get it? I think I can. Okay, and I can escape with 1 health and the sword, so I get out with only 1 health. That was amazing. That is really cool. I'm glad you found me too, Johnny B. Cat. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so as it says there in the chat, DevChatter has escaped on level 3 with 164 points while holding a sword. Something I should mention, since there are a bunch of people here in the chat that probably are new, we do have a Discord, so if you're interested in talking with me or anybody else here on the stream outside of the chat, check out our Discord. It's a great place to, you know, talk with us. Okay, so let's see if our inventory item got recorded. So let's have a look. View data, inventory items. Survivor 1 has a sword with 2 uses remaining. Perfect! So I have escaped with a sword. So what we can do with that is this. Alternately, if there were no items, I want to delete the ones that exist. So that's a good question. If I empty out the list, does it empty it? Huh. I'm not sure. We need to make sure the new games start up with items too. So either way, let's go ahead and do this. That's unchecked. Okay, so Survivor has inventory items, game data. Oh, wait, hang on. Almost forgot. There's a change I need to make. Almost forgot about it. Let's go to Survivor policy. We need to add an include for inventory items. So we're going to grab the inventory items no matter what when we create this. Will, did you link to something? No, you didn't. Sorry about that, Will. Do I seriously not have Will in the list of people that are allowed to post links? I should add you, Will. I should add you. Okay, so essentially what I just did here is I told the system, hey, anytime I'm getting a survivor, please get me their inventory items as well. I probably want them. And it's so little information that I'm not too worried about it just yet. So for now, I'm just going to say blanket grab it. I might regret that later, but we'll see. Because I could change it so that we only do that if we're grabbing an individual one instead of grabbing them all. So that's a change that we might make, which I can do with this. Okay. Let's go ahead and commit this change. So this is adding inventory to survivors. Okay. Last thing I want to do here as part of this is I want to change in the hub how we record this. So I don't add the items. No, when we create it. So who calls new game? So let's go in here. Start game. That's called right here. So inside of this, chat user display name. I want to get the survivor. I want to send down their items if we have them. Twitch Love, yes, your egg is hatching. Twitch Love, add something to the bot. Send us a pull request. What called this? So that's chat user and the wasteful command. We get that. We call start game. We pass this in. This is the point where I think I want to have this. So we have a repository right now, but that's not what we want. We want to have an iGame repository. Game repository that we're going to go ahead and save as a field. And let's say oh, whoops, game repository single, and we'll say survivor policy. Whoops, survivor policy. By ID. Ooh, no. Whoops, sorry, I'm doing this wrong. I totally forgot. We added a survivor repo because we had special rules for them. So let's do survivor repo instead. So we're going to do that. Actually, let's just get rid of that. Whoops. Create read-only field for that. Do you have to be a math genius? No, not at all. So you can benefit from knowing math as a programmer because it opens doors to more areas of programming. But most programming doesn't require more than basic mathematics. So simple arithmetic and things like that is about as far as you need for most application programming. Some algebra concepts can help because you're used to working with variables and things like that. But if your calculus isn't there, that is, for example, that is no big deal, except in certain areas of programming. So you do not need to be a math genius to be a programmer. Not at all. Get or create a chat user. So eventargs.chatUser. That'll get us a survivor that we're going to call survivor. And we'll do... Survivor has the display name, right? Display name. Dot user ID. And survivor dot inventory items. Let's remove that for now. Var inventory items equals Survivor.inventory items. Select. And we'll say X, and I want to do this now. Held item DTO dot from inventory item. Which I could write as an extension method instead if I wanted to, but which maybe I should do. No, this is inventory. No, this is held item. Held item DTO from an inventory item. Public static that. Okay, so there we go. So that's return new held item DTO, and it's going to be name equals inventory item dot name, and uses equals inventory item dot uses. So there we go. Created. We have our mapping logic in place, and actually, now that I think about it, I can just do that. So inventory items is now a parameter we can pass down. Let me take a look at chat. I know you guys said a whole bunch of things. Sorry about that. I was a little focused there. I know. Yes, there are plenty of competent developers that are not great at math. Yeah, see? Yep, a whole bunch of people that'll tell you you don't need to be great at math. And, Prozenix, thank you very much for that follow. Greatly appreciated, and welcome to DevChatter. Only formula unknown equals get internet and use Google. Very good, Will. Very good. Yes. Yeah, so there's some theory, mathematical theory, like set theory, for example, that can be useful in some things. But most of the math-related concepts that we need as programmers are the very they are the applied math, as was mentioned. There's and there are aspects that you don't actually need to have learned to apply, so that exists as well. Okay, so I want to add that inventory items, and yeah, we'll add that. So start game is going to have that. And then in this, we're going to pass those here as well, because we actually need to pass that in. So we're going to add that parameter as well. So those are the held items. So there they are, and in there as well. What did we call them? Inventory items, I think is what I called them. Inventory items. Okay, so that's going to be the last parameter. Let's go down to the overlay, and that's where this is created. We're going to go to start game. This start game, we passed in user ID and inventory items. So let's pass those as well. What? You're not going to autocomplete that for me? Inventory items. Okay, yeah, that definitely matches. Okay, so we're going to pass those as an object to wasteful start game. Let's go take a look at that. So wasteful.js, and this should have start game, should be right up here at the top. Start game. So this is user info. Is what we called that. So actually, let's do this. So that's user info and starting items. So we're going to pass in the user info and the starting items like that. So okay, so Inventory items. So now we need this parameter added, so that this is simpler. I think this is it's an array of those, of that, of thing. Man. It's an array of the thing. It's an array of an object, right? That's an array of an object. And it's going to be that name. So we're going to have this parameter is an array of, whoops, an array of some object, and the object is going to be a string int. We're going to call it starting items. There we go. Okay, so that should get us our starting items. So when we create the player, I want to create the player with their starting items, I think is what we want to do, because I think that's when they get them. So let's hop over into player. Don't start to unsell programming to, I'm sure we can come up with a billion useful things that help when you win programming. But in the end, I think you don't need any math to learn programming. Fuel Stable, yeah, that's true. Just programming in general doesn't require the math. It's if you wanted to, like, there are just certain areas where you will need to eventually know it. But most of programming, most areas in which you can program don't require it. Okay, so entity, this. So we passed in the game, but I also want to pass in starting, that's on my clipboard, there it is, starting items. So there we go, there's starting items, and how do we want to use it? Where's the inventory? There, new inventory, pass in starting items. So let's go over to inventory. .js, and its constructor it needs that, and there's its parameter. Starting items, and it's going to complain because I don't actually have that in there. Actually, this needs the actual items, doesn't it? This needs an array of item. We can't get that, so that's item. So that needs to really be the starting items. So this is that, or that, I think. So it needs to be either that, or it needs to be empty. Okay. Yes, Will. Programming is way more logic than it is math. That is a good description of it. It is all logic. Okay, so there is our initial items that we start off with. So back here, before we create our inventory, we need to have created the items. So maybe they get passed into the player that way too. Inventory. Let's pass them into the player that way. So they need to be items by the time they get here. So we'll pass them in. So the player is starting with items or nothing. That means up here, when we create this, this can come in this way, and then we need to take this and convert it. So starting item should be, this needs to get converted. So where's our item builder? Let's go find that. Build items here. Item builder. So there's our item builder. We don't want to create item of type. We want to create a specific item. So that's what we're going to need to change. We need to create a specific item. Trying to understand what sentence. Fuel stable. What sentence are you trying to understand? Okay, oh, alright, where did we create the item builder? Inside of level, we create a new item builder inside of level. So let's do that when we create our level then. Let item builder equal the item builder that we're going to pass in there. Which means we need access to the item builder out here. No longer needed in there. So this is where item builder will be. So I want to map these item builder dot recreate. All right, item builder dot foo. We're making dot foo for now. We'll figure out what it needs to be called. So we're gonna say item. So it's gonna receive an item. Receive an item. So let's go to the item builder. So we did get for level, which is not what we want. We want to do, we called it foo. So here you go, foo. And then foo is going to receive item info. And that is going to be going to be one of these. It's going to be a string int. Called item info. And what these have names on them. This is not just a string and int. This is a name. Whoops. That was not the shift key, Brendan. Name and uses. So there's our object. So that's item info, and it's that type. And then we come down here. VS2030 will read your to-do comments and write the code for it. That would be amazing, SNB. I would love that. Okay, so inside of foo, we're going to say it's not exactly create item of type, unless we separate these out as names. So we made this a list of all the items. We create new versions of them each time because we know we need to get a new one. Okay, so Let's do underscore create item by name. Okay, so create item by name, which is what we want to do down here. So instead of a switch, we want this to be table driven. I was having a discussion with our PM the other week. The trouble is that every time someone says, oh, languages are getting easier to code with, the things we are asked to do with them get more complicated as well. Exactly, Simon. Yes, that's the entire point. Advancements in languages and technology let us create more advanced systems. Struggling with what logic has to do with programming. If anything, I think programmers studied less logic than math. Yeah, that's fair, Fuel. We definitely study math more than we do programming. So this is exactly the same, but the data set that we use. So I want to create an object. So I want to make a const, and this is going to be a const with item metadata, which maybe we'll move somewhere else. And then this is going to be by name. So this is going to be like ax. And ax is going to have data that it's got. Now I want to change this so metadata is actually like a type, and so it's not this stuff that I'm doing right here. But basically, I want to get all these pieces that matter. So let's grab everything that has to be used to create an ax. We're going to put it up here. Game, don't need that. Sprite, no. We just need to know the image. And all sprites are the same size right now, so we don't have to worry about that. We don't need the word ax, because that is on this. So we have, this is, image source is that one. This is item type. This is pickup type. Whoops, meant to do that. I forget what that null is. Item, where are you? Do I have item up? Effect type. Hang on. Is that what it is on this one too? Effect type and then uses. Yeah. Okay. Item builder, so that is effect type, which this doesn't have one, and then that is uses. Okay. Now this data needs to live somewhere else, but it gets us started. So there is the data that we use to create an ax. This is not an item, this is not an actual object, but this is the data we use to make it. So now I can do the same basic thing, but for baseball bat and sword. So baseball bat and sword. We make bat, we make sword, we make axe. So this is going to be bat, axe, and sword. Sword gets 3 uses. Axe gets bat gets 1 use. I happen to know that. The item types are all the same, and I just need this to be baseball bat -1, so that's the same. And then on sword, did I use sword 1 or 2? I used sword 1 also. Nice. So there we go. So that pulls out that data for our weapons. So that means we can now just use those 3 in here. So so that creates those. So now we can create from this and create the item based on it. We need to create the effect items separately though. One second, everybody. I need to mute for a second. Sorry about that. I am back. Yeah, we've been streaming for about 2.5 hours, a little over. Let's see, my experience is less doing vector graphics, haven't needed to use... yeah, exactly. So if you're doing graphic stuff, that's where you need to... Hey, Brave Cobra, welcome back! Okay, so... Bat sword, taco, pizza, black can. Okay. Let's call this, so that's item metadata. That we're going to want to have live somewhere else eventually. So we need to make taco, pizza, and black can. So that is... taco, pizza, and black can. Taco 0, pizza, and black can are all 0 on this. So that is taco 0. This is pizza 0. And this is black can 0. So all this stuff that we have as metadata right in here, I want all this to come from the server eventually, but I'm just putting it in the JavaScript right now. We're going to want all this to be stored inside of a database so it can be changed and edited for someone that wants to modify the game. Let me take a look at effect item. Does it have anything that these don't have? Effect point map is the unique thing. So that's all that changes. Yeah, because that's the... okay, so yes, because we need to define how many points of anything we transfer to that. Okay, so... so item type is not a weapon, it is a consumable, and it is an instant pickup type. So taco is not a weapon, it's a consumable, and it is an instant. And its effect type is going to change, so it's either going to be an array, or so these two are those, and then pizza's just health. Okay, so let's put these up here. So taco is that and that and that and that, and then pizza is the one that is just health. I'm gonna go with Nomi because that's about the shortest way to say that. Hello, welcome. Greetings, person from Dubai. Glad you are here. First time I've seen code again after a while. Code reviewer in me wonders why different object definitions are in one class, but then again, if this is stub data, I don't care anymore. Brave Cobra, this is stub data. This data is going to come from somewhere else. Why different object definitions are in one class? Different object definitions in one class. So then we need the map, and that's this. So this is the thing that separates that one. So this is the taco that needs to have an extra piece here. Effect map is that. This needs to have an effect map. Which maybe I need to separate this out. Okay, so what's the data in these? This one is 1 in 15, and then health 3. This one is health 3, so we get rid of that one. Okay. All right, so let's do this. So create item of type means that we want to grab that collection. I want to say let's do this. This pick random from item metadata. We want to filter item. Did we call it type? I don't think we did. We said item type. So we want to pick an item based on the item type equals the item type. And let item data equal that. Then down here I want to say let item equal actually let's do this, and we're gonna say if item data dot effect map does not equal undefined, then item equals new effect item, else item equals new item, return item. Might just return there. Okay, pizza is a class, black can is a class, taco, all strongly typed items, but this JavaScript, nothing is defined here. Brave Cobra, pizza could be a class with default data, yes, except that I want this data to come from a database, so none of these records that I'm using here are going to live in this location. I instead want to all this data to be coming from the database, and then we're just going to get this in these structures the way that they are and use that. So hang on, let me do this real fast. So that's our item that we want to create. So there's our new effect item creation right there, except I don't want to use taco and everything like that. I want to say, ooh, I do need the name. I need the name. Ooh, that's not an array. That's weird. I'll do it that way then. So we're gonna say name is bat. Name is axe. Whoops. Helps if you put comma at the end, Brendan. Axe, bat, not bar, bat. This is gonna be sword. Yeah, I think there is some fixing to it, but I don't think it's great yet, Brave Cobra. And welcome, is that Marl? I'm gonna go with Marl, because I'm not sure, but let me know, and I can try to pronounce that better if I totally butchered some part of that. Pizza. This is black can. There we go. Okay, now here's the problem. This is an object. I don't want it to be an object anymore. I want this to just be an array for now. Even though I liked the object. So I'm going to do that and remove the name from there on each one of these. So this data clearly needs to come from somewhere. It needs to have some kind of type about it. But for now, this will get it done. That's why I say this data needs to come from Facu Rodriguez. I thought you were already following, but welcome. Thank you for following all the same. Okay, so that'll get us our item. So that gets us our item type. So create item of type. So this takes that, and what are we doing? We're going to say probably the type class I was looking for. So that dot name, and then the sprite is going to be dot image. Did I say img source? I probably said img source. Yep, I said img source. And then that's going to be this dot item type. Pickup type. I did lowercase that, right? Item type, pickup type. Yep, cool. This will be that dot effect type. Then uses. Uses. And then this. There will be dot effect map. Now, to be honest, if we actually make this a data type, this will probably just get added, like the constructor might just take that object as an alternative way of doing it. Instead of taking all these individual properties, we might pass some of that in as like the item data. So maybe we'll do like, you know, game and then item data as one big block. So you could create a new, if you needed to create a new one on the fly and not use data pulled this way, you could do that as well. So that gets rid of the need for any of these. So those all go away. So now we're looking at the simpler one, which is this new item. Then we can create this, and this is going to be almost exactly the same as that one. So this is going to be .name as well. And actually, this is the same until you get to effect map. So we're just going to copy that. There we go. There you go. So that's basically the same. And if that doesn't illustrate that we can simplify some of how we do these things, then I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so there's effect item and item. And we create those two. So item of type pick random, item filtered by that. Let's do create from. So create item from item data. Item data. Let's do this. And then this is going to return create item from item data. And now if you're wondering why I'm doing this, that is because this one, where I create an item by name, is going to do the same. It's going to call this same thing, and I don't want to duplicate the code. So now, instead of picking a random one like that does, in this one I want to pick by name. So instead of doing a pick randomly, based on the ones we're allowed to use, I instead want to filter item where name equals name. So we're going to grab item by name, use it in here, create the item, so that'll create a new item of that type. And actually create item by name is going to be public, not private. So let's do that. And actually, let's pass in the uses. So, if uses does not equal undefined, then we're going to say item data dot uses equals uses. Otherwise, we go with whatever the default is. So this lets me override the value here. So if they set that, then we can adjust it. Why did we say we got it passed that way? That's not how we got it received. Okay, we'll accept item info that way then. So we'll say item info.name and item info.uses and item info.uses. That's hilarious that we have no, because it says it that way. So that's going to be name and it's a string. Means this is string name. Duplicate the line. This is going to be. Did I seriously say int? I meant to say number, didn't I? Uses. Let's go back to wherever I did that. Number, uses, yeah. That's number, not int. Okay, cool. Brave Cobra. Yeah, it could be. I have not tried automapper syntax in the JavaScript world before. So let's see. Let me take a look at that code again. Let me look at the item builder. Let me see if it's where it needs to be. So that's create item by name, name, uses. Where did I call this? I had called it foo before, and this needs to get created when we set up the game out here. item builder map item.foo, so that's create item by name, and we said item.name, item.uses. At which point uses is the optional parameter on that, which I should probably record that it's optional in some way, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Let's give this an attempt. This data needs to get passed down. Let's try it. Whoops. Let me look in the database. Let me see if I have any inventory items for me. I do. I have a sword, it seems. So since I have a sword, when I enter the game, I should, in theory, be able to enter the game with a sword in hand. So let's try this. Let's see if I forgot anything. Game didn't even start. Why didn't the game start? Cannot read property map of undefined. Oh no, it's undefined! We passed it down with no data. Okay, so, so let's do this. Let's call it items equal that, and we'll say items equals empty collection, and if items if starting items dot length is greater than 0 and items equals that. Whoa, what did I just do? Did I just page? I think it just paged. Okay. If starting items length, we go into player and take a look and see what we did with items. So starting items is an array of item. Oh, okay, so we'll pass in an empty array. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, we'll give them an empty array if there aren't any. So if there are any, we'll build them from that set, create that. So that has to be like that. The map method might conflict with reactive version of it. Oh, could, Brave Cobra. I don't know. Let me do this, actually. I want to see what data came down. So, let's drop a breakpoint in there. So, inside of JS, let's open up the game. Go right here. Start game. We'll drop in a breakpoint. Scroll down to the bottom. Refresh the page just to be sure that we are up to date. Let's actually shift the breakpoint down there, so we'll be right before it starts. Let's see, did we get any data? Starting items is undefined. Bummer. Undefined. Let's let it continue. What error did we get? Cannot read property length of undefined. Yep. Wah, wah. Let's do this then. Let's go up another level. in our overlay. Oh, I didn't restart. Oh, son of a gun. We didn't restart. That's my bad. That's my bad. We didn't restart. We made changes on the server as well, so I was just refreshing because we didn't need to in the JavaScript side. We need to on the server side to send down the additional data, though I think we do still need the safety of making sure that that's not undefined and has a length. So either way, let's do that check regardless. It's not undefined and length is greater than 0. There are some better checks we can do of that. I'm realizing as I do that. Did this start? No. Let me try that again. Here we go. Let's check down here in our overlay. Inventory items, there it is. So we're gonna drop a breakpoint there, because I want to see what item actually, what data actually, well, no, because it'll get called into the other one. Let's watch at this point right here in start game. That's where our breakpoint is. Let's scroll down so we can see it appear on the screen. We go over here and we're going to say wstart. We are stopped at this point. Starting items, what do you have? Nice, it's got my sword with my 2 uses in it. Good. Resume the script execution. Okay, so we bombed out somewhere. That's fine, though. I'm not too worried about that. Let's see where that error happened. Create item from data is not defined. Oh, I didn't call it with a this. That's my mistake. I can fix that nice and easily. Item builder. I was supposed to say this dot on that one. And this dot on that one. Okay, so there we go. Great. Let's go ahead and try that one more time. This can just refresh from the JavaScript side. So wstart. Whoa, borked something there. The item didn't get created correctly, it appears. So apparently I didn't create a sprite. Let's see if we can't figure out where that went wrong. I'm going to drop the breakpoint there. Let's take a look at what the items are. We're gonna drop a breakpoint at that spot. Let's refresh that again. We'll try this one more time here. What are the items? So there's an item. Image, undefined. Sprite image was undefined. Okay. So we apparently did not create that correctly. Let's hop into the item builder. Actually, let's go to Wasteful.js. We're going to drop it here. We're going to step to it from the item builder when we create it. So let's go wstart. Whoops, game's running. My bad. wstart. Sends that message down. We get into here. Let's step over that function call. We're going to step over that one, and we want to step into this one. So we're going to create an item named sword with 2 uses. So that's going to get us our metadata. So this should have that. It's got an image source, it's got a name, etc. Let's step into here. We're going to apply the uses because we had it. Now we're going to step into this method. And I apologize about this being kind of small here, everyone. Just trying to debug this a little bit. We want to step and let's step over that. So we're creating an item. So sword is an item, not an effect item. So we're in the correct place. Item data image source? Why does it say that's undefined? IMG_src, that claims it has a value. Oh, item data is an array. Item data is an array. Brave Cobra, you're watching on a phone. Nice. Okay, so how did item data become an array? Did I return it as an array? I must have. That picks the choice. Create item from metadata. Create item from metadata. This is an array. Yes, it is. Oh, it is. It is. It is. Oh, man. Oh, derp. I need just one. All right, well, we're gonna have to fix that, but I think that's the issue right there. Okay, so let's try running that again. Really? Errored again, huh? All right, we'll take a look. Yeah, Brave Cobra. That was absolutely a derp. Let me go ahead and restart everything here. That's it complaining right now that it's trying to reconnect because I killed the server. So we're going to restart it. That's fine. Yeah, attempt to restart there. That's going to work. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on, reconnect. So, essentially the idea is I'm trying to get the bot to actually die. It doesn't like to die. It runs in the background for a little bit, and so when I restart I have to wait for it to fully close before I can actually get in there and do anything like this. So, that's why we're waiting all the time for that thing to do it. Okay, so we come in here. Let's remove that. Boom! I came in with a sword. Fantastic. Now what happens if I lose this sword? Uh-oh. I had a 0 sword. I had a 0 use sword. Something's wrong, everyone. Something's wrong. Jasper Panda. They're just like some cheap glasses that I've got. But I'm glad you like them. Yeah, loose typing in the wild. I escaped level 3 while holding a sword. It didn't kill my sword. Why didn't it kill my sword? It says we had an error. Let's see. Was the error related to the sword? Whoops. Oh, yep. It tried to destroy the sword and it couldn't. Entity cannot read property entity manager of undefined. Got it. That's the problem. The sword was never able to be destroyed because I didn't create the sword correctly. If we take a look at level, when we generated items in here, I gave them to the entity manager to hang on to. That's right there. But since I didn't do that with the item we created that came in from here, that's why we ran into a problem. So that's how we fix it. That's why it didn't go away. So those are the items. So we're going to do this. So we're going to make that be item. This is going to be X for now. Then I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this dot item any this. We're actually just going to say this energy manager. Add, and we're going to add in item. Then we're going to return item. No, I don't like that. We're not going to do that. That's too messy. Nope, I don't like it. We're not doing that. Back it up. Back it up. There we go. Okay, so instead what we're going to do is this. We're going to say items dot for each. What? For each. And we're going to say item. And then we're going to say this. And that's just going to be item. So we're going to add each item to the entity manager. Unless entity manager add can take in a collection, which maybe it can. Entity manager add, which I guess we could just make an add that takes multiple and then that would handle it also. Yeah, probably can. Anyway, I don't mind that. So now that it's getting added, let me check out what's going on in the chat. Sorry about that. I usually have a -1 uses sword might be our cheat code injection. Entity Manager is a custom class that keeps track of things that need to be displayed on the screen. So entities are in this case, an entity is an object that exists in the world of the game. Bart, welcome. Thank you for that follow. Much appreciated. I understand it is a DI container for the game. I wouldn't really describe it that way, but it essentially has all of the entities. It's got all the stuff. So it's keep track of all the stuff object. So it is a container of sorts. Draco, on the chat tab in the screen, why don't you keep the last message so it doesn't look empty? Draco, so that is actually just coming out of Streamlabs chat tool. I make it so I keep it disappearing so that you don't have to see the same message for a while. I could just make it not have them ever fade away, and so it would always show the most recent messages. So I could adjust it to that. Either way, let me try this. We're going to refresh that and scroll back down, hide that away. Let's go ahead and try. Uh-oh, I got 2 swords. That's not good. Let's fix that first. So let me correct the data before we go any further. Because we're not So first off, I should definitely not have a 0-use sword in there. That shouldn't happen. Oh, EF, you piece of junk. EF still has it cached. Alright, well, we'll see what happens. I think I should have escaped before he killed me, but I'm not 100%. Does it say I died? It says I died and I was holding sword. It was not holding sword. So, that's a bummer. We'll need to get that one fixed. Either way, let's go ahead and do this. So, start with previous inventory. We'll say work in progress, start game with previous inventory. Yeah, Andy, so yeah, that's the problem. EF cached the data, so even though I adjusted it right in the database, that's what ended up happening. That's why it didn't pull it out. Do you think I could make a 3D game with only JavaScript and 3s? What do you mean by 3s, ironic? And yes, you can make 3D games using JavaScript, although that is quite a bit trickier than creating a 2D game with JavaScript. But it can be done. There are a lot of tools out there that do it. You're going to want to use... Oh, 3.js. Ah, got it. Thank you, Andy. 3.js. Yeah, that I don't know. I don't know the library that well. Basically, what I was going to say is if you want to make a 3D game, you're 100% going to want to go grab a game engine that's designed for doing 3D games. There are JavaScript 3D game engines to check out. I don't know 3.js, though. So, can't give you any advice on that. But either way, so the plan here is I am going to adjust how that works and make it so these inventory items get deleted if you die without any items. And then I need to make sure that those inventory items the player got get removed as well when they get destroyed. So for some reason those weren't destroying correctly, and I need to make sure that Entity Framework doesn't have these values cached so that it sends those back down. Now in this case that's because I modified the data, but if I make it so that when you die it deletes these items, then that'll get rid of them. So regardless, when you die we probably want to delete your previous inventory. So let's do this real fast. Let's just come up here and we're gonna say oh man, we'll do that at another time. So let me go ahead and close down those. Anybody that's in chat, a couple of things I want to mention. If you actually want to spend any time contributing to our project here, I recommend that you take a look on GitHub. All of our source code is out there that we do here on the stream, so github.com/devchatter. So if you are interested in having a project to work on, this is a place you are welcome to contribute to the stuff we do here on the stream. Additionally, if you want to chat with me or the other developers here on the stream, the best place to do that while we're not streaming is to check out our Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it is a chat application that is commonly used by gamers, Twitch streamers, as well as teams of people trying to do creative works and things like that. So we use it here, and it's a good place to chat with any of us. In addition, if you want to catch any of our old videos, you can find a lot of them here in the videos section here on Twitch, so you can see a lot of old videos. We have all kinds of interesting topics that we have done on the stream, including doing we've done some series on learning to code C#, so beginner level series. We've also done some stuff on solid principles. We have a whole bunch of videos here on Twitch. But you can also find our videos over on our YouTube channel, and that is actually a further archive that has a lot more stuff than what is on our Twitch channel, because they do not get rid of these over time. So out on YouTube, you can actually find we have like literally, 100 some videos probably. I don't even want to know how many, but there's tons. They are broken out by playlists, so you can actually find all the different stuff the way you want it. So if you want to see our solid ones, our Learn to Program in C# ones, anything like that, you can find them like this. So that is how you find that data, if you are interested. Simple Dev, hey, welcome. And if you thought that Learn to Code thing is interesting, I need to schedule our next episode, but we are doing our Learn to Code in C# series again. So if you want to learn how to program, or you know someone who does, have them or you check out our Learn to Code series. I linked it in the chat over there, and you can get reminders just for our Learn to Code series. So check out that link for details. And additionally, if you guys want to support the channel and help me continue to do DevChatter in perpetuity and make these videos and information available to everybody else, the best ways to do that are either to cheer, subscribe to the channel, or consider purchasing any of our awesome DevChatter merchandise. We have cool mugs and things like that. So if you want an awesome I'm Coding mug, sticker, anything like that, we have that stuff. And then you could also consider becoming a Patreon patron of ours. And all that information is linked over in the chat as well as down below. We have a lot of supporters, and I want to thank everybody for helping out with that. It's always appreciated. And lastly, I want to make sure that I roll the credits and thank everybody for stuff relating to this episode. Thank you for that follow there, Simple Dev. Twitch Love, thank you very much for the biddies today. And Stoolpenner, I know you were here moderating, thank you. And S&B was here as well. And Ironic, Bart, and a bunch of other people. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for those follows. A bunch of nice people here. Glad you all enjoyed the stream. It was a lot of fun. We did some interesting stuff, and we're starting to get this inventory concept, so hopefully the game will become more interactive and be able to continue on further. So I think it'll be a nice addition to the channel, as well as hopefully other people's channels as well. So take care, everybody. I will be back on Monday. Hopefully I'll be feeling much better by then. We are going to be doing our usual streams for this week for the most part. We're going to have a stream on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And keep in mind that Thursday is a guest stream. I should mention that. So let me go ahead and pull up that info real fast just so you all can see it. You may have heard me mention that our code is out on GitHub. It's right out here. But I also keep some streaming info up here. So we're going to have Rachel is going to be a guest this Tuesday instead of the previous Tuesday. So she was sick last week, so that's why she didn't make it on. Now I'm sick. So we're going to get her on here. And it's going to be fun coordinating that time because it's daytime for me, but evening for her because she is out in Central European time. So thank you for those follows, everybody. If you didn't click the follow button yet, make sure you do that. It is the best way to make sure that you get notified when we go live. So if you want to catch the next stream. And Simon, glad you liked the stream. Will, glad you liked the stream. And let's see. Stay away from the cat. Yeah, cat didn't even show up on the stream today. Ivy, glad you enjoyed the stream. And thanks for hanging out, everybody. Simple Dev, we are creating a game. That is what we've been working on. And I should mention, Thursday stream, I apologize everybody, I did cancel that one, but we will be back. Maybe I'll reschedule, maybe I'll do a Sunday one, who knows, but it is not happening on that date at that time. That's for certain. And U.S. Thanksgiving is these days, so obviously I'm missing the 22nd and the 24th because of that. Anyway, have a great one, everyone. I will see you on Monday, so enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy coding, and take care.